All right, let's get started on the solution to this challenge. You see here I have three potions here. The three different potions are blue is potion, yellow is super potion, and the green is poison. So add 10, add 25, take away 50 when the player picks them up, and use inheritance and a parent object to make this happen nice and efficiently. So let's get started on this, and the first step is going to be in my little group here, I'll create an object and I'll call it O, and I'll just call it, let's say, potion parent. No sprite needed, and let's give every potion that's going to be a child of this parent, let's give them a little code in their create. We'll give them a variable, right, that will be able to change in the children. So let's call this potency. And just by default, I'll say every potion has a potency of 0. Okay? And we're going to change this for our three different potions in the end. Now we can just hit OK on that. And now we're into the player object. And so in the player object, just pop back there again, let's do a little collides with a potion. Where are you? The potion parent. So when it collides with the potion parent, what I want to do is I want to do two things, right? I want to play sound. So let's do a little play the sound pickup. And it says as a default behavior, all these potions are going to destroy themselves. So with other, instance destroy. And just before I destroy the potion, every potion's got to give the player a little bit of hit points. So let's say hit points, and remember I am coding inside of the player right now. So hit points of the player should go up by the potion's potency variable. Now I know I had set it at 0, but I'm going to change that in a second. And so if their value is positive, the player's hit point should go up. If it's negative, it should go down, right? Because you're adding the negative. So this works nicely. All I have to do with the potions now is give them each their own unique value, okay? But this is going to be the common behavior for each of them. Oops, some of you are yelling right now. There we go. Get rid of that red line. Now just to test that this actually works, let me just run the game. And I'll just go pick up the potions. I should get a little sound, and they should disappear. But there shouldn't be any hit point change, right? Because it's all zeros. So, hey. That's not good. Let me check what's wrong here. So I went and checked what's wrong, and of course I've done the typical thing is I forgot to actually give these objects to parent. So let's actually assign the parents now. Super potion, parent, potion parent, poison has the parent, and regular potion has it as a parent. There we go. Okay, now when I give it a go, I should be able to see them disappearing and that little sound playing. Perfect, perfect. And I shouldn't even bother walking around here. Perfect. All right. So let's tackle the different hit point values now. Pretty easy for this one. All I want to do is when I look at my parent in the create event, I'm really not doing anything that great. I'm just doing one line. Potency is 0. So when I go to normal potion here, I can override the create event, and I'll basically do the exact same line. Potency equals 10 for the regular potion. For poison, we'll make it a negative value. Okay, and we have here in our poison, we'll say potency is negative 50, so it'll take the hit points down. And then the last one is the super potion. Add that create event in there, and we have potency equals 25. Now, that takes care of the create event and takes care of setting that variable so that eventually when the parent potion hits the player, that this part works, right? The right amount of hit points is going to go up or down on the player. Now, there was one extra little bit there. It said about the poison is supposed to jump around the room on contact with the player. What we're going to do is we're going to add in a little extra code into our poison object. So one nice thing we can do here is we sort of coded the basic behavior in potion parent. To add this extra little behavior, one option we can do is go to the poison, and we can say when the poison collides with player. We're going to find a new location that doesn't have any other type of potion nearby. So here's the code that we're going to do in poison contacts player. So what I'm going to add here is the find new location and make a new poison. Now, the nice thing is I'm not supposed to have the new poison within a certain distance of any type of potion. So when I do my check for objects, I'm not going to check for potion, poison, or super potion. I'm going to check for potion parent objects, which blanket covers all those children objects. So here we go. So bam, I've just added a bit of code here. It looks a lot worse than it is. We're basically going to find a spot to put our new poison that isn't within 200 of another potion type. So here we go. I've made an XP, YP, near potion, and distance variable here to use. The near potion variable, it's going to try to remember the ID of the nearest potion parent object, which could be any of the potions. Now what I do here in my do loop is basically I have to find a location in the room that's random, which is this part, and I want to keep doing this until the distance is bigger than 200 from another potion. Now how do I get this distance? I just use this line here. I say near potion, which is going to be the ID of the nearest potion, so instance nearest, to that location I just found, XP and YP, and look for the nearest potion parent. Now this sends me back the ID of the potion parent object closest to that new random position I just found. Now you know there's two things that could happen here. If there's 0 potion parents in the room at all, then this is going to send back -4, so less than 0. If there is a potion in the room, it's going to send one of their IDs back. One of them has to be the closest to the spot, and I get a value bigger than 0 back. So I quickly do that check here. If near potion, if the ID is bigger than 0, I know I've got the ID of an object, then I find the distance to that object using point distance. Otherwise, the other option was the value that came back from instance nearest was less than 0, which means there was no object in the room that was a potion parent. And I can't do a point distance on nothing. So I just say break. And what break does is breaks out of this do loop. Because if there's no potion parents in the room, then there's no problem where I put this poison, right? I'm going to be totally safe. Then my until statement here, right? If I do find a distance, keep going until the distance is bigger than 200. So it'll keep finding spots. In case I do get a little too close, right? Like 100 or 50 from another potion, this just keeps repeating until the distance is large enough. Once I do get out of this loop, whether it's because the distance is bigger or because I break out, that's when I create my poison object at that XP YP location. When I actually test this out, I may have to do a bit of walking to prove it to you. I'll just do it once or twice, but it actually works nicely. And I do it. It pops it over there. And you know what? If you test this out a whole bunch of times, it's totally good. It won't ever go within 200 of one of those potions. So it's a nice little section of code there. That last part was a little tricky. Hopefully that was a good refresher too on how you can use your loops and stuff to do cool little tasks in your game. Thanks for watching. Try the next challenge with the Dragables. Thanks.